Go.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sure you've been looking forward to a great day today. Now, in case you haven't been counting down, we're having a very talented rap group come in and teach you guys about the most important aspects of microeconomics today before your AP. So I'm sure you'll be very respectful, and I think that this is a really fun way to learn some more microeconomics.
When are they coming?
They should be here any minute now. I think they're running a little late.
Hey, we're here and ready. Why don't you join us?
I'm gonna learn some economics.
Hey, yo, you understand soon enough. It's really, really easy.
I'm gonna learn some economics. I'm gonna learn all the concepts and graphs. I should probably start studying all these paragraphs. There are so many, I just don't know where to start.
Wait, hold up, just wait for all the knowledge I'm gonna impart.
From efficiency, first is allocated MR equals MC, max output rule. Using up all these resources for the firms, there's productive efficiency, price equals ADT. It's also known as a break-even price. And when you see that triangle, that's deadweight loss. That's a loss of econ efficiency. There's a loss in possible transactions. Some causes would be tax, floors, and ceilings.
We're learning EC, ON, OM, I, CS. We are gonna learn.
Perfect competition is a market type with homogeneous firms and a break-even price. Monopoly is basically the opposite. One firm controls the market, it controls the product. They decide the price, so it might not be fair. That is why we have oligopoly and monopolistic competition. These structures are the in-between. Oligopoly is a few firms, MC many. These structures give choices that consumers need. The firms get a profit, everyone's happy. I'm gonna learn some economics.
Hey, yo, you understand soon enough. It's really, really easy.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
It's time to learn some econ.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
Hey, yo, you understand soon enough. It's really, really easy.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
It's time to learn some econ.
One last thing for oligopoly. Game theory decides how much product there will be. Equilibrium, that was found by John Nash. Firms with interdependence means strategies can clash. Econ, factor markets exist too. Labor is a resource, it can be a product, true. It's mostly the same rules as before. Marginal factor cost equals benefit for one worker. Monopolists control workers in that area.
How are these firms earning money? Profits are greater than costs, that's the key. Economic profit excludes the opportunity cost. Accounting profit does not. Implicit costs. These are the costs you don't see. Explicit costs are numbered more easily. As long as marginal benefit is equal to cost, efficiency is at this spot, the more units should be bought.
Phillips curve, inverse relationship, inflation, unemployment. Then there's a short run, then there's also long run. That's when the Phillips curve would be vertical. Then there's no trade-off between inflation and unemployment. Changing inflation would not change unemployment. There's really no relationship. They're unrelated. That's really it. Wasn't that easy to learn. Oh, and then there's externalities, the difference between social or private cost and benefit. Government subsidies or taxation can eventually make these equilibrate when it's socially optimal for consumers.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
Hey, yo, you understand soon enough. It's really, really easy.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
Gross domestic product shows the size of an economy we call it GDP. Real is better than nominal, we can agree, because adjusting for inflation is called real GDP, and per capita adjusts for the size of a country. To measure, you add each category, including net exports is mandatory, and so is adding both government and consumer spending. Business investment, that's the last part of the story.
Next up, the production function for a set firm, the relationship where Q output meets Q input. The total product curve, it slopes upwards due to the declining marginal product of labor.
What if we control min or max price? That is called price floors and price ceilings respectively. Those are not typically under advised quantity demanded less than quantity supplied. For floors, ceilings supply lower than demanded. Surpluses and shortages are then created when floors and ceilings are enforced.
Next, we'll cover price elasticity of demand. It shows how much consumers are willing to buy of a product at a given price, like insulin, that's super inelastic. Diabetics will buy it no matter what. The more horizontal, the more elastic. The more vertical, the more inelastic.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
Hey, yo, you understand soon enough. It's really, really easy.
I'm gonna learn some economics.
Oh yeah.
Could you just explain a little more about externalities?
Yeah, so basically, externalities results from when the marginal social cost of a product doesn't equal the private social cost, or the marginal social benefit doesn't equal the private social benefit. So that's a lot of big words, but basically what it means is that the people who are involved in the process of making and buying a product, how much they benefit or lose from the product doesn't equal how much society benefits or loses from the product. A common example of this is with pollution. So with pollution, if, say, a factory pollutes lots of gases and destroys the environment when they make their good, that creates a cost to society. That pollution creates a lot of negative externalities because it negatively impacts the environment and negatively impacts society, but doesn't have that same cost to the people involved in the factory and buying the products made by the factory. So when we look at the graph, we can see that the quantity that will be bought and sold when there's an externality is different from the quantity that would be bought and sold at the socially optimal level. So the quantity for the socially optimal level and the quantity for that's actually the equilibrium price aren't equal, so this creates inefficiency, and the price is also different. So one way that the government can regulate these externalities and get rid of the state deadweight loss is by regulating the price with a price floor or price ceiling.
Okay. I have another question.
Oh, awesome.
Can you go more in depth about what declining marginal cost of labor is?
Of course.
So basically, this is the marginal product of labor table, and it shows the labor or number of employees per a specific firm, the output or the number of goods per hour made by that specific firm, and the marginal product of labor, which is the increasing amount of goods made each hour by a set number of employees. So at first we can see that the output is increasing, and thus the marginal product of labor is increasing until it gets to 16 goods per hour, and then the marginal product of labor decreases, which shows diminishing marginal returns to labor. So with this number of employees, 3, there might be people, running over each other or getting in other people's way. So there's less goods, less additional goods being produced, and thus we even get to a negative marginal product of labor. So less goods will be produced at 5 workers, which is called negative marginal returns.
I know you gave an example of an inelastic product, but could you give an example of an elastic product and how it relates to the graph?
Of course, I'd love to.
So this would be the graph for a perfectly elastic good. A good that might be very elastic would be some kind of luxury good like an iPad, because if a good is elastic, it means that the changes in price of the good have a dramatic effect on the quantity demanded of the good.